This is the Untitled.jpg podcast where we talk about art, movies, and anything that comes to mind. So for this week, we actually have two people, and they work together on a comic called Skatefire 100. It's going to be Stephanie Evangelista and Daigo Fukuda. They got picked up by Webtoons to become official Webtoon creators and create this comic as a Webtoon original. And you know what's cool? I had class with them back at FIT. We had a couple of professors together, and we actually get into what specific things we got from each professor. And so definitely get to know. So I definitely wanted to get to know more about them and how they started out with Webtoons, how they got to work with them, and everything else that came to mind when it came into like quarantine, and what movies they're into at the moment. I also get into what they draw inspiration from, and what other things they're working on now aside from their webcomics. So you can follow Stephanie's work on Instagram at Maloboo, MALLOWBOO. And her website is stephanieevangelista.com. You can follow Daigo on Instagram at Digimungo, DIGGYMUNGO. And don't forget to check out their webcomic, Skatefire 100, on webtoons.com. All right, let's get into it. Enjoy the show. All right, everybody, we are here with Stephanie and Daigo. How are you guys?
We're good.
We're good.
All right, so I wanted you guys here today because I saw how crazy you guys gotten with your webcomic with Webtoons. Skate, Fire 100. It's so good. Honestly, I ended up reading the whole thing yesterday because I was just like, I need to be ready to, talk about this. And then I just got hooked in. I was just like, I was only going to read like a couple, and then I just kept going and going. So, before we get into talking about that amazing comic, let's just introduce yourselves. Let's talk about your art careers, how you guys started out, and why you started doing art.
Okay. Should I start?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. So, I guess it started. I guess initially with my interest in art and going to like an art high school. That's kind of where I decided like I think I want to do art as a profession. So, and then I met him in high school, and then we went to college together for illustration, and I mean that's kind of how I got my foot in the door.
Yeah.
I would say. Oh.
Don't worry about it. So, because I know with me, since I'm here in Long Island, we never even got offered the idea of just like a high school for art and stuff. So,
right.
When you were in middle school, did they offer these kind of things to you guys?
In middle school, no. There was like an art class that I had at my school, but
it's usually like an elective. It's like, oh, you either go in for like a band or like art or dance or whatever. And
yeah.
It's never like all of them. And they give you this like big like yellow pages book of like high schools you could apply to. Oh. And there's like a small like specialized like art section. There's like 3 schools there. One is like art and design. The other was Frank Sinatra, and the other was LaGuardia.
Yeah.
So we applied to them, and
we both went to LaGuardia.
We both wanted to go to Frank Sinatra.
Because we were both in Queens. Frank Sinatra was Frank Sinatra was the art school in Queens. It was so weird. We both applied to Frank Sinatra. We both didn't get into Frank Sinatra. We both got into LaGuardia.
Well, I mean, you're not the only ones. I mean, even Craig had the same issue. He didn't get in either, and therefore that's why he went to art and design.
It was so weird. That school was weird. That who they accepted and who they didn't. But I guess it was just fate that we both ended up going to LaGuardia. And met there, but
we could have been with Craig at art and design.
Yeah.
We could have also gone there.
Could have been with that whole crew. Yeah,
that would have been weird. That would have been cool. But
yeah. So then you went through like high school together, all with art and everything. What was that experience like?
Honestly, art high school was really cool because like at least the way that LaGuardia was, you were kind of able to do your own thing. They just liked that you were expressing yourself. I mean, we had like geared art classes like painting, ceramics, but like it was mostly really cool because, you know, you had 2 periods of art to just kind of have fun, explore.
Like, you were thrust in. I was in public school my whole life. You were like in Catholic school, so like the environment was definitely different for you.
Yeah.
In general, right?
For sure. Yeah. I went from a really small private school to like LaGuardia, which is like what, 3,000 students or something? Yeah.
Like 600 per grade.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah, that was also different, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So then from there you go to FIT, which is where I meet you guys. So what made you guys pick FIT over like SVA or Pratt?
What made us pick? Oh, the money. The money.
Yeah, same.
Oh, bro, no.
We couldn't afford, you know, a private school, but I mean, it's a little bit of a sob story for me because SVA was my dream school, but you know.
Yeah, mine was RISD. I was prepared to go.
Yeah, mine was it was either Cooper Union or Pratt.
Oh,
or Pratt, yeah. Pratt too.
Pratt was there until I heard that there was no air conditioning in one of the buildings.
Oh, really?
You know the one that's like all like a red brick on the side?
Yeah,
like, a nice like architecture building, and then this like it looks like the the psych ward in like Roosevelt Island. Like that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
No air conditioning. You have to like
there was no AC there.
Yeah, there's no elevator either. You have to walk up to a 6th floor with like your like 24 by 16 canvas. So yeah,
crazy.
But I mean, I feel like FIT, even like how I was talking with everybody else that I've had on, you pretty much get the very same education and networking wise, because I like Jesus, she taught at SVA as well, so we all kind of had the same teachers.
Yeah, all our adjunct professors.
Yeah, it was just classes. Really like in the degree, like where you went, you know. And that's another thing I wanted to just talk about. Like, what do you guys think about college when it comes to art? Is it something that's needed? Is it something that was good for you guys? What was your experience like?
We literally were talking about this kind of recently, but I would say with art college, I think it's good if you don't know what you want to do. If you don't have a clear idea of what kind of art that you want to make money from, I think art college is good because it kind of just, even though we took illustration, it just they kind of threw a lot of different things at us. I feel like we got our feet wet on a lot of different types of it. But I feel like if you kind of really know what kind of art you want to do,
it feels like you're wasting your time.
A little bit. A little bit. I feel like there's like a lot of like, there's this website called Schoolism that you can kind of take classes taught by professionals in the industry. And I feel like if you are the type that really knows what you want, you could kind of just spend money taking stuff like that.
Yeah.
Versus actually just trying to go for 4 years in college. But it's about the money too. If you don't have the money, if you have the money to spend on college, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the other options. The big name schools are usually like mad money, but
people are in debt for like years.
Years, man. Years, literally.
We got I was fully covered financially. Like it was pure luck. Like I just kind of made that like bar, and then right when we were graduating, we got that Excelsior scholarship.
Oh, so, yeah, that actually saved me too.
Yeah,
towards the end. So like the 2 semesters, I think.
Yeah, it was like the last year.
Yeah, that we got it. I was able to do it. The only problem was I was finished with all my class credits, so I had to just like fill it up with nothing, like nonsense classes, just so I could keep the scholarship. So
I'm
trying to think, like, I know I took like some sort of like gym class or just
something. Class.
Yeah, just to like just get up there, you know.
I took an online Italian class and I dropped it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't need it. Yeah, that's what I had to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I guess you get just to do that just so you can get like that free semester, you know.
Yeah.
Why not? So yeah. So I mean, I definitely agree with you guys. I think, like, I've said this before in the podcast too, is for me or anybody that had public school where we didn't even have any idea that there was an art like high school or whatever.
Right.
It's very beneficial for people like me because of the whole networking. And like you guys said, I had no idea what I really wanted to do. I just knew I loved drawing. I love drawing faces and all that. So when going into something like that, I was able to just get a better, clearer idea of what I wanted.
Mhm.
So I'm always still in the fence, but leaning towards I guess it's just circumstantial.
Mhm.
And even like with what you guys said too, people that already know what they want. I've heard the same things where it's just like it's not, you know, not something you need to do. Like
It's not
yeah,
necessary.
it's not
Yeah.
necessary for
You
sure.
could be good at all of it, but like it really comes out of personal preference. So
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
if you find out that you don't like graphic design or like setting up stuff in print, but like it gives you the option to try it to like see
Yeah.
if you don't like it or not.
The
So that can
other
narrow it down.
the other thing also is if you don't know a lot of artists, going to art college is great to like meet other people.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like
The network.
networking wise, I met all
Yeah.
my friends now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I'm able to do this podcast now because I know the people I went to school with. So,
yeah.
so we got that cleared. So I just want to kind of know because I really got the idea to do this podcast just speaking with like Craig and like Nico and all of them during the quarantine because we were trying to figure out what other things we could do while we're at home. You
Yeah.
know, and I finally like decided to do this at the beginning of the year. So what have you guys been doing since the quarantine started? How like has that affected you guys? How has your work been doing with that?
Right. Like we
yeah.
actually moved in together because we're on call right now.
Yeah.
Right like a month before the quarantine started.
Yeah, that was our big move in together.
So the environment that
Oh,
we live
man.
in is completely different.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
quarantine happened, and then we're like inside together. We talk about this now, but like I can't imagine how different it would have been if we still lived with our parents quarantining.
I don't want to think about that.
I mean,
like for us, I mean, we've been dating. We were dating about 6 years. I mean, this year makes
wow.
7. But yeah, last year was 6 years together. We just moved in. But I think if we would have been quarantining separately, it would have been a lot harder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
so
not easy.
definitely from experience, I can let you know now. Me and Gabby, remember
Yeah.
Gabby? Yeah, so we've been dating now. We're about to hit 3 years.
Oh
And
wow.
that literally happened because our last hangout with our friends was for my birthday. I just got the notification from Facebook from when we went like to that Axe place, Kick Axe.
Oh,
So we
okay.
went there, yeah. So that day, you could already tell there was like hand sanitizers everywhere. Everybody was kind of eerie or whatever. Literally the next week, lockdown. And me and Gabby don't live together yet. So I'm here on Long Island. She's in Jersey in Hoboken. So
Oh boy.
like what you guys were afraid of actually happened to us. And I think if I remember correctly, we didn't see each other for like 10 weeks straight. So it was just
Oh my.
straight up like FaceTime. It felt like she was in another like country or something.
Like you're doing like long distance.
Yeah. So
Ah,
and then we just ended up working it out where because I have a car, it was just straight up go to her house and come back and don't go anywhere else. And that was like
Mm.
my bubble. But
very
yeah, no, it was definitely very hard to go through something like that. It's
crazy.
yeah.
Jeez. At least you had a car though.
Yeah,
You were
oh,
able
Yeah, like thankfully. And
to-
what was crazy was because you guys, I mean, both of us, all of us, like we live in New York. We're in the city constantly, and
Yeah.
then to then drive through there, it took me only an hour to go through Long Island to Hoboken, which usually would take me 2 hours. There's like
yeah, that's obscene.
yeah, so it's just like no traffic. The New York City was just like nothing, nobody in the streets. It was just like a dead zone. It was very eerie, but
Just eerily
luckily, traffic wise, it was amazing to just drive through.
zoom through.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah, so did you guys like do any like? Are you the kind of people that learned how to do like bread, like because I know that started being a thing. Did you start making bread or something?
We made the whipped coffee when that was big.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing. Yeah,
Yeah, we did that. I made banana bread, but I didn't get into like hardcore bread making. But
Yeah.
I
It was-
was I wanted to learn something like that, but you know what? I ended up just playing Smash for like
Oh,
Smash
no,
Bros.
bro,
6
no.
months. Yeah.
Yes.
One of my friends at one point, like we were just on FaceTime with like all 6 of us, all on FaceTime, just like playing together. And then one of my friends didn't have a Switch at the time,
No.
so and they were sold out everywhere. So he was just trying to get it out of like like Mercari or something, but they were like taxing it like $500-$600 for the
Oh,
Switch,
God.
But he ended up finally getting one at a decent price, and ever since then, man, we even like formed a whole group chat just for Smash.
Oh,
And
that's
just doing that, yeah. But it was a lot of fun, man.
yeah, when Animal Crossing came out in March, that was also like literally like just
Yeah.
when quarantine started last year, Animal Crossing came out, so that was also a big thing in
You
our
had your
friend group.
birthday on Animal Crossing.
We did.
Her birthday's in April, so we were like, "Oh, we're gonna like it. This is gonna be out in 2 weeks." A month passed, and we still couldn't get out. We couldn't have like dinner or anything. So.
Yeah, so they threw me. Our friend group threw me a surprise birthday in Animal Crossing. They like decorated someone's island.
Wait, inside the game?
Inside the game.
Dude, that's awesome. Wow.
So cute.
It
but-
kept
Do you
that
guys
te-
like do you guys have like screenshots of it or anything?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I-
Please send it to me. I would love to like show everybody how it looks.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That sounds so cool.
It was cute. It was cute.
Yeah. All right. So we, going through quarantine and all of that, did that ever affect like your creativity?
Well, our second season of Skatefire started, or our work
Right.
started also when quarantine hit, because we timed our move out originally for the new season,
Yeah.
and it was a lot better. We're gonna like lock ourselves in and hermit ourselves in an apartment to like work
Classic,
with each other anyway. So that makes it even harder for us to like imagine how it would have been separate working like that, especially in like an environment where like
Yeah.
I almost didn't have a room in my apartment
With your parents.
with my parents. The carpet doesn't allow the doors to close, so all the doors were like taken off. We only had curtains. So like I wouldn't have been able to work like that in that situation. So like this was a godsend. We like timed it perfectly for something like that.
Yeah, that's great, man. For sure. So like you guys were saying about like doing that, the comic, I want to get into how it all came to be. Like, how'd you start working with Webtoons? Like, because I read the the Q&A on
Oh,
Webtoons
yeah.
I was
and
surprised.
stuff. I read all of that, but I want you guys to tell everybody how that went down.
Yeah, do you want me to start?
Yeah, you could.
So we had it's funny, we knew people that went to SVA that we also went to LaGuardia with them. And it was in 2018, summer, right after we graduated FIT, they said there was a group of people, about 4 or 5 of them, that said that they were going to create a webtoon for Webtoons contest, because Webtoon was hosting a contest in 2018. So we heard that they were doing that, and we just graduated from FIT. We weren't really working on anything. So me and Daigo were like, let's try it.
Yeah.
The Let's Try It was a little more like serious because the prize money was like 10K.
That's true. There
Oh
was
wow.
yeah, that's true.
It was like
Jesus.
10K, and
the
then
grand
like
prize was like 10K, I think.
no,
Yeah.
it was 10K and then like 100K.
Oh, I don't
there was
remember
like
that.
there was like the finalists, and then there's like a final winner.
Okay.
So like you still got like 10K for like making it to the final.
Yeah, just making it as a finalist.
Yeah. And we're like, oh yeah, we're we're totally down for it.
Yeah.
It was weird because like right before we graduated in senior year, we took Caparelli's class in FIT, and he was like, remember to know like if you know what you want to get into, like look at how the business works. I was like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do comics, but I didn't look up jack shit for like comics. So I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
And, like,
I think we
stumbled
had that. You guys had him senior year, right?
Yeah,
For like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we were together. I think you were just in the other side of the room.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I remember that him saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Highworks and I was like, oh, that's it. I'm just gonna talk about that. That's it.
Yeah.
I ended up going the completely opposite way for Webtoon with Steph.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, what do we do for that series? Like what do we make for that?
So we kind of like another thing, we channeled another professor actually coming up with an idea. I just remembered.
Oh yeah.
So we had Eric Velasquez for children's book illustration.
Yes, we had. Yeah, I had him.
Shout out to Eric. And I remember him saying something like everyone has like a certain number of topics that they know really, really well. Like I forgot what his were, but you know, him as an illustrator, he knew a few things really, really well, and
like,
he like
fill out 10 slots of like things that you know the best about. And he talked about how like it was even hard to fill out like 5.
Yeah.
Which was the same for us. But there was like at least 5. So we narrowed it down to like 5 things that we knew about.
Yeah.
And one for me was like I loved manga since I was a kid. So like manga, and then like longboarding, which was like a niche thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't like only like Mike in like FIT was like longboarding, like no one else touched it before.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, at least I know that more than like the average person. And going by that, we just kind of narrowed it down to longboarding. And just a group of kids hanging out. And we decided to make a story completely based off of that.
Yeah, because we were like, that's something that I guess we both kind of knew a lot about. And we never really saw it done before. So we were like, okay, why not? Let's give it a go.
Like all me, but there was stuff like that Steph had, which was, I think it said Legend of Zelda, right?
Yeah, something that I knew a lot about. So I was like, okay, well, I like fantasy
because like stuff like that was fine. Yeah. So we have a few characters in there. Like there's a weird fantasy element because I wanted to throw in something a little more like crazy.
Yeah.
And the fantasy element with like the kids with masks comes from like Majora's Mask, kind of.
Yeah.
From like Legend of Zelda. Like the mystical like spirits from the mountain with like masks, which made them a little more like eerie and spiritual, like something that's like otherworldly was her idea.
So we kind of like, he had the longboarding, I kind of had a lot of fantasy stuff that I grew up with, and then we just kind of like
and it's so like reading the storyline, it was a very cool way to mesh both of that stuff together. I was trying to figure out where you guys got that inspiration from, and now it all makes sense from Zelda, obviously.
Okay. But he was part of a skating team. You might have seen it but he his teammates like were a huge inspiration too with a lot of the characters.
No one's specifically one person, but I melded different aspects of people and different characters. I'm not like one person in there either. I mixed it into like different people. I stretched out. So.
Right. Did you base Mike? Did you like base Mike's personality into one of them?
Mike, maybe on like.
That's a good question. I don't know.
There was one that just like I just felt like that was straight up Mike.
Was it the one with the Hawaiian shirt?
No, not even. It was. I don't even know if you guys. I was thinking of Elbow.
Oh, Elbow,
because the whole time when I was reading, Elbows was always the more timid and nice guy, and like everybody's like tearing down his door, and he's just like, "It's okay." That's straight up Mike. You know, like Mike is never angry. You know?
Yeah.
Did he name him Mike?
I think his actual name is Mike.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking too. I'm like, his real name is Mike, but his nickname's Elbows, and I'm just like,
slipped in.
He
just
that was subconscious. That wasn't intentional.
That's so funny.
Like dream slipping thing.
I was just thinking about Mike the whole time because that's literally how he acts.
We gotta hit him up. We gotta hit him up about that.
Yeah. He's probably gonna listen to this because he always hits me up when he listens to something. So
he's sweet.
So I want to. This is how I'll know if he's actually listening.
Elbows will probably have that back piece.
Yeah.
That's canon now. We'll say that in this podcast first.
All right.
That too.
So continue talking about like, you know, how you developed all these characters because you kind of meshed all these people you know into each of them.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is Nora because of how crazy she is. Like just switching up, man. Oh man, she was good. I liked her.
She's crazy. Yeah. I don't know who we channeled for her particularly.
I don't know. We've there's
we went to in LaGuardia. There were some crazy people in that high school. Like, not gonna lie. Even I feel like people in
The
FIT were.
aesthetic was definitely based off people from like LaGuardia from our high school.
Wait, who?
The aesthetic of like a
Oh,
lot of
the
the characters.
aesthetic, yeah.
Okay.
Like, people like Cass's like outfit and stuff. We like definitely seen people we went to school with. Like
Yeah,
that.
LaGuardia had a lot of characters in that high school. Like just people that were like really tried to be so individual. It was so weird.
It comes. I mean, when it comes to like art, you know, everybody's trying to be the person, you know, like trying to like be different. So I guess that makes sense. And then with LaGuardia, you're dealing with everybody from all the boroughs, right? Everybody's kind of going into that school. It's not specific to the area.
Yeah, and different backgrounds, different like
some people from Long Island too. Like they
but
took
some people from some people took the Long Island Railroad to school.
Really?
So it was just
yeah.
There wasn't many of them because it's obviously not easy to have to
no.
But
I can't imagine it. Like the commute's like an hour and a half, and like school ends at like 4 p.m.
Yeah, so that was the thing with me, like, because I lived out here. It's an hour train ride from Penn Station, so class would be either I would have like an 8 p.m. class, so I'd have to be on the train by like 6:30.
Bro, no.
But, you know, wake up earlier than that to get to the train. Yeah, it was a rough 4 years. So.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I guess we honestly, I guess a lot of experiences from like that kind of help. I mean, when you're writing teenagers, you think of people that you knew in your teenage years, I guess.
Yeah.
That's like inspiration, but
the city's definitely like based off of like Queens, like Manhattan area.
Yeah, I was noticing that with some of the names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the park. What was the park called? I think you put like Queensboro or something, right?
Yeah,
we did.
yeah. I was like, oh, I know where that is.
Juniper is based off of where you live. So.
Yeah, I grew up next to a park named Juniper Valley.
So
the mountain was named Juniper because
we were like, oh yeah,
that's cool.
Valley, and then we put the opposite, which is a mountain. That
was inside joke. That
was it.
That's really cool. And then you guys developed this in one day at a coffee shop?
We conceptualized most of it in one day
at a Blue Bottle in Williamsburg.
Yep,
this thing is like from a straight up movie. That's something you see like in the beginning of a movie. Someone's developing like their novel at a coffee shop. You know, like, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Was a dream to do so. I was glad that it was able to stick and we were able to finish it. Yeah,
I can't wait till we could do that again. You know, just go to a coffee shop and sit there the whole day.
Oh yeah.
The story was, and then the name and stuff and the characters, we did it at the Motto near like SVA, which is another cafe.
Yeah.
Do you remember Motto?
Motto, but I've never been there. No.
It's like on the 8th, right?
Yeah, it was a place where like everything was $2. They used to have one by FIT.
Wait, I don't remember the name, but I do remember one that's like that. Yeah, like $2.
Everything was $2. All
it was across the street.
Yeah. Nico brought me there. Right. Yeah.
So they had one by 8th Avenue that actually had
proper seating. Yeah.
It had seating. Yeah. So.
And we just
that place is great.
Yeah.
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 I mean, $2 anything. I mean, I lived off a $1 pizza, so.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So. Okay, so we went through like the whole character's design and everything, and then what inspired the title for it?
Oh boy. Okay.
So we needed a whole day for the title.
Yeah, the title was really hard. We're kind of like spitballing, throwing words at each other because you know the title I guess is important.
And you guys designed the logo and everything, right?
The logo we commissioned our friend.
The
logo is awesome. I love that.
I love it.
You guys? Can you put it on a shirt or something? Because I want it.
We talked about putting it on, like making at least like a skateboard sticker. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be so awesome.
He's incredible. We met him in high school. He went to SVA for graphic design.
Yeah, Jason Gonzalez.
Jason Gonzalez.
Plug him. What's his at? And I'll plug him down.
Jason Gonzalez. I could send it to you. He designed.
Send him his Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever his Instagram is, that's what I'll plug under.
Oh, see, he what was it? Well, it ties into the name. So like we were trying to think of a name, and I liked the way 3 words sounded together because we had Fire 100.
And I definitely wanted to put in a verb, at least like skating or skate or something along those lines, or shred. we bounced shred.
Yeah,
but
shred.
skate was a lot more like straightforward. It was like longboarding is already so hard. Like it's like a weird concept that it's like, oh, it's not skateboarding. So we just decided to put skate.
Yeah.
And we said Fire 100, but we didn't have the idea of the skate team's name either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it was. I remember we thought maybe Skate or Die. We were gonna do like we were
Oh my
thinking
God.
of like different elements, but
Yeah.
we were like we didn't want the title to be that, even though
Yeah, that's very aggressive.
Yeah. Especially opening the story and you're like, oh, these are really sweet children. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was definitely I think it originally came from like when people spam like a weird like emojis behind like tweets and stuff, like, oh, this is like, great, and then they put like the fire emoji and then like the 100. So we took that, and then there's a skateboard emoji. So we're like, it wouldn't be cool if it was just, you could kind of tell the whole story, like the title, with just 3 emojis.
Yeah. And then the 3 exclamation points, because there's actually, it's skate, 3 exclamation points, fire 100.
Yeah, I always yell it in my head.
It wasn't there until Jason made the logo using the 3 exclamation points, and we were like, okay, we have to use it.
Yeah, because we gave him the title that we thought of with the 3 exclamation points for whatever reason, and he designed the logo with them in it, and it came out so cool. So we were like, okay, I guess we got to keep it.
Yeah,
for sure.
But
it's like, I guess we could start with like tips for like other like creators who want to make their own series. Don't put punctuation in your titles.
It makes it harder to search for it.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'd do that again. But the logo,
like the other thing was that if you like do a hashtag on like Instagram, if you put exclamation points, it ends it. So like if you put skate exclamation point 5100.
Yeah, so it just ended as skate.
Yeah.
Oh.
So like it's really hard for tagging stuff.
Yeah.
So if it was just skate 5100, but you know.
So what's your official hashtag for people so they know?
Which is just skate 5100 without the exclamation.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so that's easy.
SF100 I've also used a lot.
Yeah, sounds like sunscreen.
It does. Yeah.
But yeah, skate 500 is 100% ours. SF100 is like, there's like sunscreen stuff in there.
I guess, yeah.
There is on Instagram, yeah.
But
yeah. So you just finished season 2, which ended in a great roller coaster. Like thankfully I was able to binge it, but I don't know if I could wait a whole year for that season 2. So I'm thankful I was able to binge all of that. So I mean, the way it ended, it seems that you guys are gonna keep working on this. So is the season 3 coming? Can we talk about that?
So you could talk.
I was gonna say, okay, so it's we ended Skate Fire 100 with season 2. It was the series finale was season 2. So there's not gonna be a season 3.
We originally planned the story to end with 2 seasons, so like we were able to tell our full story without any interruptions or any like anyone stepping in to change it. So we were like super grateful for Webtoon for that, and like letting us end it on our terms. There's a lot of characters. Other Webtoons that would be like 52 episodes. That's where we ended. It would have like at least maybe like a max 4 people in the main cast.
Yeah, you guys had like 2 teams and then like the external characters. It was a lot, yeah.
Adults,
we had like 15 of them.
Yeah.
So we definitely have juggled the idea of like a spin-off series, like kind of episodic stuff, because we could definitely play with characters and their interactions. So maybe sometime in the future, but right now we
have nothing like concrete planned right now for continuing anything Skate Fire related. We like he was saying, like in the future maybe if we come up with an idea for like a spin-off or something, but there's nothing right now concrete set.
Right. Okay.
Should we talk about how we divide the work, because that's also kind of ties
in. I was gonna ask about like your workflow and everything and how you guys manage that.
Yeah. Honestly, when you're starting a collaboration with someone, the beginning is always going to be I don't want to say rocky, but it's going to be testing waters, because we're both artist. So when we started it, of course, we both wanted involvement in the art.
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't divide writer and artist. We wanted to like.
Yeah.
Yes, but as an artist, it's hard to make a split divide right down the middle. Like
Right.
it's really hard to do it 50-50. It's I mean, we thought we could do it, but it's honestly impossible to do 50-50.
Or make it feel like it is.
Yeah. So initially what we were doing was it was like Daigo was thumbing all the panels, then I would pencil, then he would ink, and then I would color. And that sounds hard because it was.
Yeah,
because penciling someone's thumbs is almost impossible.
Yeah, because usually I know, like with comics, it's usually like someone does the thumbnailing, then the sketch, and then a second person does the inking, and then like I think the third person is the colorist, right? Is that usually the workflow? But you guys are like alternating like each step.
So that didn't work.
Okay.
So we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So it ended up being that he was thumbing, penciling, kind of inking, and then I was just coloring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that ended up working
was,
out.
like, the
Yeah,
colorist.
that was
he
the
was
flow.
the inker.
Yeah.
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 And then you also did the Daigo. You also did the layout because I know that was part like it was under your drawing of yourself, right?
Yeah. So that was ended up being like thumbing and down to the inking. Yeah, just
okay.
Yeah.
So I know Webtoons. It's all vertical. It's really easy to like just scroll on my iPhone. It's like perfect for that. So how was it? Because I know with original comics, it's like a book. So how different was it or like to adjust to something like that in a scroll format?
I mean, it was super new. I haven't really read webcomics on my phone like that either. But because we didn't do too much like print stuff, it was easier for us to like learn the ropes rather than like unlearning stuff from like comics, like there's like different ways to, like, page turn and like where to put word bubbles, but we didn't have to like unlearn that. We just kind of jumped into Webtoon and was like, okay, we just kind of do what everything else is like, and just make it easy to read.
Yeah.
And we worked straight into the scrolling format. That's how we draw. Like that's how we did the comics. Some people do like the print format and then reformat it, like take out the art and then paste it in.
Yeah.
So like people could like have like a print version.
Right.
Like, that's how they're used to doing it.
Yeah, like they conceptualize it like it's a print page, but then they like will reformat it so you can scroll through it. But we just made it to scroll.
Bro, we were like,
because that's what
got time for that.
No.
Yeah, and you guys weren't like making your own book yet. It was just straight to Webtoons. So,
yeah,
I mean,
we didn't have intention of printing it originally.
So then, are you working on like a file like super long, or are you like kind of breaking it up and then putting it on the scroll?
Yes to both of those things.
Oh, okay.
when you were thumbing it, like when you were laying everything out, it was a giant like Photoshop file that's like 800 pixels by like 90,000 long.
How many zeros were on the?
It could go really, really long, but it's always like 800 pixels wide.
Because that's the phone like format.
Yeah.
And then he worked on his computer on a Cintiq and Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah.
I worked on an iPad Pro and Procreate. And Procreate can't handle files that big.
No.
So he had to then cut up the huge scroll into smaller pages so that I can color it. So each episode we ended up cutting into like 8 giant pages.
So technically, we would in our like measurements, it was 8 pages per episode.
Yeah. In our giant whatever this is the long.
Yeah. There's this app that I've started like just testing out. It's called Art Studio Pro.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it's straight up Photoshop on like your iPad. It doesn't have any like photo like layer limits like that Procreate has. And everything I've thrown at it has it's been handling well. Here and there it has its little lag or so, but it's managed it pretty well. Like I just finished the WandaVision piece on that app, and
nice.
So that's kind of like my workaround when I'm working on a huge file like that. So, I mean, it's just a suggestion. You could try that one out.
It was Art Studio?
Art Studio Pro.
Art Studio Pro. Yeah, I never heard of it. I'll look that
Yeah,
up.
like it's popular on the App Store, but it's never really promoted. Like I've never heard anybody else use it, so I just like tried it out just to see,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it so far.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
you can load your Photoshop brushes into it, and
Oh, that's good.
yeah, and do all of that stuff. Yeah, so give it a shot.
The stuff that carried over from like what FIT.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to know how long then does an episode take you to like finish from start to finish?
Usually it was a week.
Okay.
Like we have to. We have to finish it in a week.
We have to, because it was a weekly. When it was being uploaded, it was every week a new episode would be uploaded. So
that was like your 9 to 5.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
So we had to, figure out how to get it done within a week.
Because when we first started, when we were just doing it for like the contest, there was like a good 2 months, and we had to do like 6 or 7 episodes.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we're just gonna ration that out on our own terms, and it took at least 10 days to do each episode.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
Like
Okay.
at least 10 days, and as maybe this is another good thing that art college prepares you for, is when there's a deadline, you could make it.
You learn how
you
to
learn
make
that you could make it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like whatever you can, like whatever means possible, you could like make the deadline, and we were able to like crunch it down to 7 days, even though we were like running out of buffers. That kind of like helped us.
Yeah.
So are you working through like the weekend and everything, or you just strictly like Monday to Friday?
Oh no, the schedule was, we were both working part-time jobs.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, so our schedule was whenever we could fit time. Whenever we had free time, we were like working.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was able to leave my part-time job. Kind of had to, but like I also like had the option to, because Webtoon was doing enough. And Steph is still with her part-time job, but like we're like working towards, like
Yeah. So you guys are just ideally like want to do like freelance work, or just like, I mean, you're Webtoon creators now, so is that like the goal to just fully work with Webtoons?
Yeah. We learned a lot from like FIT and like how illustration jobs work, but comics is definitely easier, at least with like a serialization, because there's like a sense of like normalcy. We could just kind of like upload stuff like at a consistent rate, and we'll have something consistent back.
Yeah.
So that's like something that was really reliable, especially during like the quarantine era.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like no new contract.
Yeah, I was just like,
no new like contract every month or anything. Just we were able to do something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your experience, so let's talk about then your experience with Webtoon and how they reached out to you, because I know from what I read during the like your Webtoon now, you guys said you didn't win the contest, but they still ended up reaching out. So how was that like?
That was crazy. So like we didn't win the contest, and we basically like 2018, summer 2018, we were making the stuff for the contest.
Yeah.
It was like being uploaded in like August, I think.
Yeah.
August, September. We didn't win the contest.
There was like a separate like runner-ups or like special, what do you call that?
They like announced the runner-ups first, I think in like November or something.
Yeah.
And we, weren't on that list. So we were just like, we were like, whatever. We thought like, okay, we had fun doing that though. So we really just, okay, maybe we'll continue up. We'll keep doing Skatefire anyway. Because, at that time we did have some people that were like reading it, even though it was just for the contest.
Our large 5K people reading.
So how long? So you got a huge fan base. Your subscription is like what, at like 80K right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was like, that was after the contest. After the contest, they basically like, not that they re-uploaded Skatefire, but they made like a new account for Skatefire, and that's the one with 80 K.
They reached out through email.
That was it. Yeah, it went to my spam.
Oh no.
So I didn't see it initially. But a
They
lot
went
of
to you.
yeah, they went to me.
They went to you.
They reached
Yeah.
out. They were like, we like Skate Fire. And they set up a time to call us to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because they liked it, and even though we didn't win, we were like, okay.
Yeah.
But they want to talk to us about it.
There was
So-
there was a lot of different ways that people like on YouTube and stuff talked about how they got picked up, and one of them is weird. Like it's said that it can't happen anymore, but some editors apparently go to like Comic-Con booths, like the artist alley, and if anyone has like original comics and they're like interesting enough, that's how some people got picked up too.
Right, but they reached out to them in like a convention.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, there's like different ways. So we were like, okay, maybe this email is real.
Yeah.
No harm in trying it. We're not putting any information on there. So
Yeah.
and that's how
that's kind of how we got picked up.
Yeah, so I mean that's a good lesson in the fact that even if you don't win, it's still you don't win anything that you don't put out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if you know you're not gonna win the contest, still put it out there because things like this happen, you know.
Yeah, like you
Like-
miss all the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then they reached out. How'd you feel? You've somehow found it in the spam. So after that, what was that like?
I mean, I don't want to say life changing. Maybe that's too serious, but like, it was crazy to.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are straight out of college, you know, and you get your first
Yeah.
opportunities that fast. You know, that's crazy. That's really amazing.
It was shocking, and at that point, we didn't live together, so we had to take the call in a cafe. Because I couldn't just bring him to my house, and I couldn't just go to his house.
Yeah,
just because of the way our families were set
you're
up.
Italian.
Yeah.
None of my house was too loud. Yeah, I'm Italian, so my family's too loud.
I'm Dominican. I have like 7 people in the house
You
constantly.
understand?
So
Yeah, I'm like, there's no
yeah.
way to take a professional phone call in my house.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we took it in a public cafe instead. But,
Yeah.
and that worked out. Yeah, that was crazy. Our first few calls, we had to like go to cafes to like take them. I mean, that was a push for us to move in together. But
Yeah.
uh,
So was it? So was it the editor, the editor for Skate Fire right now that reached out, or was it like just someone from the company?
Well, we were like assigned our editor afterwards, and now we just talk to our editor.
yeah.
Like we just
Okay.
contact our editor now. What do you call it? It was really weird, but really refreshing, like working with like a professional in the field, looking over a comic, like a third eye.
Yeah, exactly. Someone
like,
like
feel the
outside from
concept.
yourself, because we're always
Yeah.
constantly just looking at our artwork and we never know what's really wrong with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we thought it was enough because we were 2 artists that we thought we knew enough to like bounce ideas off each other. And he was like, "Oh yeah, fix the word bubbles because they don't look that good." And we were like, "Oh, you're right. Yeah."
Yeah, you need a refreshing eye. Someone that's hasn't been staring at it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know?
It's cool to have a perspective from like a third
It's
person.
definitely a perk for like publishing and stuff in general. It was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, so then did he help lay out the story, or did he just kind of leave that to you guys? Like for season 1 and season 2, did you already have the idea of where the story was going to go and where it was going to end, like from the beginning, or how was that, like laying out the story?
Well, we planned, or at least like Webtoons were really like receptive of like the stories we want to tell. So like we just kind of told them what we wanted to do. Season 1 was completely planned out. Like we wrote out, like I knew exactly like who's gonna match up with who, like with the skating competitions and where I wanted to end season 1. And I also knew that season 2, we needed a season 2 to like finish the story properly.
Yeah.
But we only knew how season 2 was gonna end, and we didn't know what to put in season 2 until we finished season 1.
Right. Okay.
So we told them how season 1 ends, and then like what we would rather save for season 2, and that's what we submitted to our editor, and we got the okay, and we started working on it. So We did chapter beats, so we like knew what we were going to do in each episode.
Okay.
We don't have to do that.
Oh, chapter beats.
Like so some people like it could be way looser than we intended it to be because we kind of like were so like sticking with what.
Yeah,
happened.
you were very structured.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, you know. It's better to be prepared than, you know, to just jump the
Yeah.
gun while you're doing it, you know.
It was a smaller series, so it was definitely easier in the long run to just plan everything out beforehand and then just like lay in.
Yeah,
all
because
the
we never
story.
intended it to be that long. It was pretty much, I think, longer than what we initially intended it to be.
Yeah.
Right. But as far as like the writing and like creative division, that was just like ours, like both of our, like
Yeah.
mostly Daigo a little bit. He did a little bit more writing than me, I think. But yeah.
Yeah.
All the ideas were like conceptualized by us. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you basically took full creative control over it. I mean, that's good to know for anybody that's gonna get into or trying to get into webtoons, you know.
Yeah. Writing also like on a weekly basis was very interesting too.
Right.
Some stuff we just didn't plan out. We didn't know where the masked spirits came from. We didn't have a backstory for them until we started season.
Yeah, that was like in the second season that it came. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
We're really happy with how it came out. It just that wasn't planned. We didn't have an idea for that when we started.
It really
kind of got like an Avatar, like Avatar the Last Airbender kind of vibe. Like going back to their parents and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that like a inspiration or it was just something that just again like subconscious?
Steph made me watch Avatar the Last Airbender after we graduated.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you have to watch it, and she roasted me for
it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you. I'd never watched like when it was on Nickelodeon. It was Nickelodeon, right? Yeah. I watched, you know, like whenever it was on, I'll watch whatever episode, but I'd never like sat through and watched like the whole thing until they put it on Netflix. Was this year? Last year?
Last year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I was able to just watch it all through, and that's why it's like fresh in my mind. So I'm with you, Daigo. Don't worry, man. Other people like us that haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. But it was probably fresh in my mind also, like aesthetic wise too.
Yeah. It's really cool that you guys kind of just meshed a lot of these inspirations and made it your own in that sense.
Shout out to Eric Velasquez again.
Yeah, shout out to
dude, yo, his teachings are still ingrained in my mind. Like, I still want to make that like a children's book because I enjoyed the whole process. It was definitely hard, and he set those deadlines like really like strict. But I mean, it helped you guys with planning your comic out, and it just helped me with deadline wise and just like structuring everything. You know?
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, okay. So the last question I kind of had for webtoon wise. So now that we know that like Skatefire is over with, are you guys gonna continue like doing a duo together, or do you guys want to branch out and do your own?
That's a good question.
That is a great question. So, I think from what we talk about a lot, we can definitely see ourselves working together in some capacity, but I think in the future, when it comes to like writing specifically, I think, well, also, yeah, I guess in art, basically in the future, we plan on just going a little bit more individual when it comes to like, I guess comics.
Our creative endeavors.
Our creative endeavors. I mean, but obviously because we live together, we'll still, you know, if I need a little help with something.
Yeah. It's just like the name of the game, like how some like illustrators, they'll share a studio space, like they'll rent out a space, and then they'll still kind of help each other even though they're doing different things.
Right, where Skatefire definitely felt like duo series. Like, you know, I think in the future we oversee something a little bit more individual.
And still kind of with like webtoons, creating your own kind of like profiles that way, or kind of branching out to something different.
We don't have anything concrete set yet. But we're definitely, you know, we love comics, so
we definitely would like to work with Webtoon again, at least with our individual like stories and like
for sure,
IPs. So
I mean, you have your you have like that experience now. You have that solid comic out there, so
Yeah.
they have a reason to get you guys back. So now I'm curious. Before, like, say Webtoons wasn't in the picture or anything, what would have been like a success story for you? Like, what were you guys kind of reaching towards, like career wise after college?
Um, oh man, I really thought I wanted to do editorial, like
You
illustrations.
did. You
So
really
yeah,
did.
I was like gearing a portfolio ready to do like editorial stuff. I kind of thought that's what I wanted to do. I also thought children's book, which I know those are two completely different directions.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I thought I wanted to
You were able to narrow down two things.
to two things. So I
And
was
you did a
like,
third thing.
I did
Totally opposite thing. Yeah.
yeah, literally. That's kind of where my brain was. Where I was like, wow, if I land like a paid art job and one of those two, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do comics, but like I said before, until we graduated, I didn't really have an idea of how to get into the industry or like how it really worked. So like it was one of those like I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm not gonna say it. And I just didn't talk about comics for like a majority of like high school at least. And then maybe like I started to see like there were some people who were like very like open about wanting to do comics in
Yeah.
FIT. And that kind of like helped me open up about stuff like that too,
Mhm.
and decided to like pursue it a little stronger. But we during quarantine at least, or when we moved out, we started to collect a lot more like print, like art books,
Yeah.
and just having stuff in print just completely like hits different.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I feel like having like a complete like filled like print book of like my work would be like a final goal. Like I still like print stuff a lot.
Right.
Yeah, and I do like admire like having something like a book in my house.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
yeah.
So what kind of books were you getting? Was it like just comics or just like art books from certain illustrators or something?
We started with comics.
Comics, yeah. We
And
started.
then for inspiration and stuff, we like bought like video game like art books.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, because it's like it's nice to see because it's a team. It's like this artist did this concept art and this artist did that. So it was like a nice merge of like different styles, and it was like very like fun to look at.
Yeah.
And like you could like learn from their process, so it was really fun. And we also started buying more like what like two art tutorial books.
Yeah, like there's a new book, an anatomy book that came out that's like pretty hot right now in like the art market.
Is it from Japan?
It's from Korea.
It's a Stonehouse anatomy book.
Okay, I know because I follow what's his name?
Kim Jong-gi.
I do follow him, but I didn't get it from him. Dave Raposa.
Oh, okay.
So
yes, he did.
got the book.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so that's the anatomy. You guys have it?
Yeah.
Oh, how is it? I'm like still thinking about
like
pulling the trigger.
It is like a Bible. It literally goes through each part of the human body. It's
I'm
crazy.
not even fully through it. Like this is how much I read.
Yeah.
Oh my
There's
god.
like 600 pages, and it's
So is it in English or am I just gonna be looking at pictures?
It's in English.
It's in
Okay.
English.
Okay. Cool.
From like it's on the Super Ani website, and it's in English. The translation's really good. It's super in depth.
Yeah. Super
amazing.
into yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible.
Steph also bought this. Is this
yeah, this is also on the same website called it's called Super Ani. It's a space drawing perspective, volume 1. So for like comics, like perspective is really, important when you're trying to depict an environment. And I'm terrible.
Bro, we had one semester of perspective, and then they said, "Fuck it, we're not teaching you it."
One semester. One semester.
One
semester. And then what was that like book that he? I know. What was Elmer? I think.
Yeah.
He gave us like a book like this thin. Like,
and I have.
We're gonna learn from that. Yeah, I still have that, but I don't go to it. I mean, it's.
And this book like addresses common like perspective book stuff too, but they were like, I think this is a better way to go about it. I just think it's like smarter where it's like, this is the first time I'm reading a perspective book and it's sticking a little bit.
Yeah.
I think too, because it's not just like, you have to train your eye. I mean, it's, if you can't see it, you can't draw it. But like,
around it, he like addresses it. And it's really nice.
It's really good. It's a really good book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are definitely books I got to check out. I just recently got for my birthday the Mandalorian art book. So as you guys were saying, like seeing the concept art for all of them, and what I did find interesting was the concept art for Baby Yoda, and like they apparently worked on just Yoda for like 10 weeks straight trying to figure out how he's gonna look.
Oh my god.
There are like horror like concept art of what he was gonna look like. And thankfully what we got was like the best one. There was one that he looked really old and like not even like a child or something. Like he looked like deflated, you know. It was insane. Like me and Craig and Nico were just laughing at it. It was but you know, people won't see that unless they buy the book, and it's like so good to like just get that knowledge, because all we get is the perspective of like, oh, it's they always punch out something perfect, you know, like they get it on the first try, and it's really never the case. They always have to go through these different revisions.
Yeah,
for
But
sure,
yeah, and same thing. I do the same thing now. It's I buy a lot of art books specific to like artists that I like. Like
Yeah.
I have Drew Struzan's book. I have, you know, all the art books from different video games. And then I got into the alternate poster like community, so I started buying like the Mondo poster books, stuff like that, just to get like kind of reference and all
Right.
that. And I think if you're really trying to get into any kind of niche or just in general, like learning all these things, you got to get these kind of reference books and have it on hand. Because
Yeah.
we could go on YouTube all day or just see it on your computer, but I feel like it's not the same
It's
unless you
not.
have
It's
it in your
definitely
hand.
not.
Yeah, like Pinterest is great, but like
Yeah.
there's only so much you can get from stuff like that.
This this anatomy book. If it was a PDF on my computer, I wouldn't like go through it.
You wouldn't read it. Yeah, you wouldn't like sit through there because then you got too many distractions of what's on your computer, you know?
Exactly.
Now you're convincing me about getting that. Because I mean, for that anatomy book, you don't even have to be like a. It's not specifically for a comic artist. I saw it. It's just for drawing in general.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so valuable. I mean, they had us
How do
figure
I draw?
drawing.
What's the abdomen? Like what's some back muscles again? You can just flip through a page and you can just like look at it. It's like a.
All right, so I definitely got to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
It's
cool.
Sold.
So that okay, so we didn't really get it. So we didn't really get into what you guys want to do for the future then. So I know Daigo, you want to be like a comic artist. You want to do like your own LPs kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Steph, so now you're kind of leaning towards like comics as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, I definitely do. It's weird because it was kind of staring me in the face my whole life, and I just never realized it. Like how much I liked comics and storytelling through art specifically. And until I really worked on Skipfire with Daigo, I just didn't think I had like the skill to be able to do it. But after working on Skipfire, it kind of solidified for me that's like, yes, this is something I want to do, and I know it's going to be challenging, but it's definitely I can't see myself doing anything else at this point.
That's
So
awesome. So you kind of it just kind of clicked for you.
mm-hmm.
And usually for some people it takes years for people to realize what they really want, you know. And you were able to get that early, and now you guys can just kind of do that together, which is awesome.
Yeah. We feel really lucky.
It's lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
So aside from like Webtoons now, do you guys do anything on the side, like any side gigs right now that you work with, you know?
I mean, I do have a part-time job that's unrelated to art. But
yeah, I mean, we gotta eat.
Yeah,
So.
I also have a Patreon. We have a Patreon, like a
right. So I'll link that below too, just to see if we could get a little something. So what do you provide on the Patreon for people?
So we originally tried to do stuff for like Skatefire. That was like the reason why we did it. We got really busy and we didn't know how to maintain Patreon. So it was a lot of just like kind of sketches, like periodically like some work that we like would do on the side, some like what do you call it, like sketches that we just didn't use, and PDFs and stuff. Oh, not PDFs, like PSDs, like actual art files. But now that we're going to try to do like separate stuff, we're still going to use the same like Patreon, but upload our own stuff.
Like our each individual stuff rather than like a lot of Skatefire concept art. like it'll be like a lot of sketching from like each of us.
From like two artists just sharing that like Patreon
that space,
like brainstorming and trying to like create like our own stories again.
Yeah.
On a different level, but that's Patreon. We really just had it for like if people just wanted to support. We haven't been pushing it as much. But if any of our stories take off, we would like to like revamp it and like push it again.
Yeah. No, definitely, because I mean that's just another source of income. Like I'm doing Dave Reposes. He has one. He just has like a flat like $5 a month, but then he's like showing like the making of certain illustrations that he wants to just do that he's not getting paid for, and then he'll like give out the high res once he's finished to like print your own posters, stuff like that. So I think like maybe for you guys, you could even have a section of just like the concept art before the finals, like the sketches and stuff like that, because I think that's very valuable for people to see.
Videos too. I love what is it? I love how Procreate, when you're like working, you could
the time lapse. I love that stuff.
That stuff is cool, and people love to see that.
Yeah.
They just updated like a few months ago, and they finally like put in their own time lapse feature.
Yeah.
Where you could like screen record.
Which app?
Clip Studio.
Oh, Clip Studio. Okay.
Yeah, that's the program I
use. That's what I use. So it's also been helping. I have to do it manually though. Stuff when in Procreate it just automatically clicks.
Yeah, it's just straight up automatic. As long as it's toggled on, it just records every like.
Yeah.
And I like how it also tells you how long you spent on a piece.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's been very helpful for like commission wise, just so I could like do an hourly rate kind of thing. Because sometimes you're working through a piece and you think you only spent like 5 hours in it, and after you finish the piece, I would check thinking I only did like 6 hours, and I spent like 24 hours I think on the weekend piece that I recently did. Like it's just good to have it. Yeah.
No, time completely flies when you're working. Yeah,
for sure.
And so for Clip Studio, I know it's very beneficial for people like that do manga, because they also have like a perspective feature, and like
they do.
They have a modeling thing too on it, right?
Yeah, I could import like
that's cool
stuff. Yeah.
You guys use that feature a lot? Well, Daigo, do you use that feature?
I haven't. It was like a trial and error because we were trying it while we were working on Skatefire. We didn't take advantage of like 3D models and stuff. All people use backgrounds that are pre-made, and then they import it, so they don't have to draw. They just kind of place the characters in. Would have been a good idea in hindsight. Like, it would have been nice.
I downloaded this app on my iPhone that I heard good things about too. It's I think I actually have it on the iPad, but it's the same thing, very similar to just Magic Poser.
Oh,
you guys heard of that?
Magic Poser, no.
So same thing. It's just straight up 3D modeling, and then you could just grab their arm and just freely move it in a 3D space.
Oh,
and like put them in an environment and stuff with like, and they'll put like clothing on them with different hairstyles. Like you customize it fully, and it's really good for just model like setting things up. I got the idea from this guy I followed on Twitter. His name is Sway something.
I think I followed that.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of like, he just like got in with like Marvel, and he's been doing a lot of their comic covers for Marvel.
Okay.
And he just did one for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like a poster for them, and it's like been going crazy. So from him, because he showed like the picture he made on that app, and then the final piece, so you could kind of see how he made that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I always love seeing stuff like that. All right, so let's see what. So we did that. Oh, okay. So what advice would you give people getting into comics or just illustration in general?
Should I start with this?
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
We would always get this advice. I would always see it on Twitter, and I thought it was so kind of like
silly.
Like it was kind of dumb, and like it's like, oh, you're just kind of like not everyone's like that, but the advice of just doing it,
it's like that vague, like straight up
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
you just gotta draw, you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
Like
What does that mean? But it's true. That's kind of that we were able to do it because we had an opportunity for like a contest. There was like a push.
yeah, like there was a reason you had to drive, you had the deadline.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But without that, like without that push, we would probably just, like the concept is just we started a comic. We were just able to like come up with some like cute little idea that we thought of in a cafe. We like sat there for like 3 hours and we talked about what we want to do
Yeah.
and characters. And we were able to like create a story where it lasted 2 years and we were able to do the whole story on Webtoon. And the thing is, like, the first one is definitely not going to be perfect. And Webtoon, you could talk about it. We can't show it, but we could talk about it.
Yeah.
When we entered into the contest, the story is completely different from what's on Webtoon right now.
Right.
And when we entered the contest, we kind of did like an episodic. It was more comedy leaning.
Yeah, it was like a.
There was less plot. There's more comedy and like with characters interacting with each other, and that was what we wanted to do originally
for the contest. Yeah,
because we entered in the comedy section.
Yeah, it was a comedy first.
Oh, really?
Like, now, because now, like, Escape Fire 100 is really like, I don't want to say plot heavy, but
it's like fantasy sports. There's
you guys have like a lot going on, but it blends very well. Like the storyline was really good, the beats were really good. Then there was the moments of still comedy. I did laugh at moments. Like I love the dog. The dog was one of my favorite parts. Him taking over and taking that win was amazing. Like those kind of beats during like those serious like races were really good and like a good comic relief. So really great job on that.
Thank you.
And we were like able to like we're proud of that because it wasn't our first draft. It wasn't. Some people who get picked up on Webtoon and they like are able to bring their basically what they already uploaded, but then like post the rest. But we decided to like revamp it and rewrite it, so it's a lot more like tightly knit.
Yeah.
And so the plot it comes more forward than like just like silly moments and then just like that's it.
Which I'm glad because looking at the art that we made for the contest.
Oh no, yeah.
No, but it's really funny to see the art that we made for the contest, the art in season 1, and then the art in season 2. It's like there's such a huge jump in each shot.
There is. I did notice that, but in a good way. Like it just got better as it went on.
You're like, oh, I won an FIT with these.
No, not even. No, like for the season 1, it was still really good. Like I'm telling, like I'm saying it progressed in a good way because like you could just tell that you guys just kept working on it, And obviously with everything, the more you work on something, the more practice you have, the better it's always going to come out, And that's good advice like how you were saying in the beginning, you're not going to get that without doing something.
You have to
even if it's not going to make it, even if it's not like going anywhere, as long as you're working at it, something's going to come of it. Someone's going to see it. Something's going to come out.
Wait, and like another small thing is if you're specifically going to do a comic, don't force a style. That's also the reason why the art style was a little different, because we wanted to do like a little more like flatter, like cuter style, so it's easy to work on it. And
like
it wasn't
for workflow wise.
Yeah, the thing was also if you're like a duo artist, which is honestly unusual. There's not many, not even just on Webtoon, but in general, there's not many that are literal duo artists like what we did for Webtoon.
They usually separated writer and artist.
It's usually writer artist.
Yeah.
But for us, we were like, oh, let's just blend our art styles together, and you can't do that. You can't force a style like that. It just
So how did that end up working out? So like, it wasn't a blend. So what was it then?
Mostly his style.
Okay.
Mostly,
I guess, yeah.
But even then, it wasn't like it wasn't like the style that's supernatural to you.
Yeah, it was definitely like we originally had the style in the middle where how we started, which was supposed to be a blend of both our styles, and because I was inking and I'm a lot more of like line heavy, I decided like the style just definitely shifted to mine because I start working on the art first before she does.
Yeah. Right.
The
So you
coloring
just
style is
go
definitely
with something
important.
natural to you.
Yeah, but like if you're working weekly, you can't just be like you can't do something that's not you. You can't like force something. It feels like very unnatural. It's
Yeah.
also really frustrating. It takes a lot more time. And just you can't just be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna cut corners or blah blah blah. It will take longer. Like
Oh
whatever
yeah.
comes naturally to you is definitely a lot easier, and I recommend that for most people.
Yeah, so they're trying to force a look out of
Yeah.
it that's like
It's like
not.
pulling teeth
That's so
when you're
hard.
trying to. I mean, even if you're like when you're trying to just a new style, just to like break away from an older style that you've been working on for so long, you want to just try something new. It still feels like pulling teeth because
Yeah.
Sure.
it's so hard just to like not do what you already know.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
so like jumping from like, for example, for like what I do, like when I was in college, I got highly influenced by Dries Struzan. So then I wanted to break away from that and just start more like painterly style. And I'm still kind of struggling with it now. And yet it hurts. It still hurts. And I still find myself going back, but kind of forcing myself out. So I'm kind of just trying to blend that style with more a painterly style and kind of make it my own thing.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
I love
Like,
it.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
But so that's been happening with you guys then too, like trying to do that together. So Steph,
Yeah.
were you, so were you doing like kind of, since you were the colorist, you were picking the palette?
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
all the characters, like color design, that was all like I picked out the palettes for everybody.
Some of the characters you straight up designed, like Cass and stuff. The other team, most of them she designed herself.
Cass was awesome.
Yeah.
Like Cass.
The character designs were split. Yes. Like some. Yes, you designed some of the characters. I designed some of them.
But it's mostly my interpretations. A lot of them you designed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the colors, I love coloring. But
I'm the worst at that. I hate like.
I hate
Continue,
coloring.
and then I'll get into my rant after you. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, when it comes to us as like individuals, I'm definitely more of a painter. Like painting comes more naturally to me, and I love color. I think in color, but I sketch it's in color. I have the thing is, you know, I'm not as confident in my lines as I see Daigo is. So that's why for me to be the colorist and him to be the line artist, it was kind of like a perfect match in that aspect. But yeah, it's weird to think about it, but
there really wasn't a perfect way to like like merge both our like work at least half and half.
Yeah,
So,
but because I loved coloring and color comes easy to me, kind of.
Yeah, so explain that, because for me, I go nuts trying to find a color palette. Like, where do you get your inspirations from? Like finding a color palette for your story. Like, where do you go to find the resources?
I guess I'm inspired a lot by animated movies, specifically like if you've ever had a art book for like a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Something like that they call color keys, where it's like if you think of like Finding Nemo, the beginning of Finding Nemo is really tragic and it's very blue. But then like as you go through the movie, it gets a little bit more colorful. There's some scenes that feel more red. So it's kind of like using color to play with emotion. That's kind of, you know, when I'm thinking of a palette, you know, there was some dark scenes in Escape Fire where everything felt very green because I wanted it to feel like scary. So that's kind of, I'm inspired by movies when it comes to like, I guess, colors or palettes. Yeah.
So then, so you just think of that. So emotion wise, do you pick your own color for the emotion that you think that emotion entails, or like do you research it, like go to Pinterest or something and find like a color palette, or you kind of just make it on your own?
A little bit of all three. It's basically I try to think of the mood, and then if I'm able to kind of come up with colors that I think are working for the scene, I'll play a lot with layers, and I'll do like adjustment layers and play with the color that way. I do have a board on Pinterest where if I like, you know, colors in something, I have like some saved.
Wasn't there also like an app on
oh, I know Adobe. Like Adobe
yeah, where you're able
Capture.
to take a photo and it'll make like swatches based on that photo. Yeah.
Procreate does that now.
Yes.
Do you know about that feature? Yeah. Okay.
So if you drag the photo into it, it'll make like a palette based on it. I do stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See, but then that's also intimidating because then You have the color palette, but then it's like 600 different colors, and you don't know what to pick. You know what I mean?
But I love that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, she works in chaos for like the layers. She says she uses those adjustment layers. Oh my god, that.
Right. So, do you name your layers? Because I personally don't. I'll work off of like 20 layers, named layer by in a numerical order, and then
That's
I
me.
end up switching them around into groups.
I've gotten better, but when we first started, I was terrible because I would just work as I go and not stop to name anything because I thought it would like disrupt my flow.
I send her files. They're like named inking and then panels.
Yeah, so you seem more of like you're very organized. So then clashing with someone that's so organized to then chaos. How's that?
It's very much our styles with drawing that. I think it's like
Yeah.
everything about that is like so much us.
It's definitely easier to send it to her and then she can do whatever she wants. So she had a lot more freedom, and I would just label it just in case.
Yeah.
I'm an inker. There's like only like two colors basically, just black and white.
Yeah, it's just the black and then like the sketch.
It's way easier to like label stuff. Yeah.
So then you're sending it to her. Then she has all these hundreds of layers. She sends it back to you. Are you renaming them for her?
No.
I just drop them in that file. It just says page 5. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. All right. Okay. That makes it easier on you then.
If I get something, I don't want to like make a file like a layer invisible and like ruin something. I don't touch it.
Yeah. You just kind of work with, just kind of almost like how with clothing, you just kind of push it to the corner and just not deal with it until you have to.
Definitely.
Stuff like that. All right. So I think, we got everything. We've kind of cleared everything, and it's very helpful for everybody to just kind of hear what you guys had to say with the way you guys work. Now I kind of want to get into the fun part where it's about movies. So I asked you guys to just think about movies before we got on, and let me know like what do you recommend, what recent ones have you seen, like all that kind of stuff.
Recent? Should we like does it matter how new it is? Is it just like, or
doesn't matter, just whatever you like comes to mind.
2 nights ago I saw Akira for the first time.
I'm not gonna say anything because I haven't seen it. Like, so I was just gonna jump on the train and be like, we hadn't seen it, but I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah. So it was kind of like that movie, like especially because I love anime, and I would bring up Akira, and I'd be like, I haven't seen it, but now I finally seen it, and I'm like, my mind was
like
kind of blown.
The color keys and stuff. I thought she'd seen Akira, like a lot of the greens and like the eerie tones. I've seen that in that movie. She didn't see it. First time she saw it.
It was incredible. It was incredible. It was mind blowing. I loved it.
Where's it on?
Oh my gosh!
It was on Hulu.
Hulu, yeah.
Oh, it's on Hulu. Okay, so I gotta. I'll get on that.
Yeah,
There's we have a group chat where we just roast each other on what movies we haven't seen.
Yeah, there's a group of like 5 of us, our friends, and the guy that designed the Skatefire logo is actually in that. He loves movies. Like he loves.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, so you get like your recommendations from him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. His favorite was Akira, so Akira was awesome.
Yeah, he was like, oh, he's watching Akira.
But you also haven't watched a lot of movies, so it's
really
a lot of
classics. But literally 2020, we watched so many movies like that I'd never seen that just kind of blew me away, like Terminator 2.
You just seen that this year?
She just saw
2020 Alien. I was like, oh, cool.
Craig's heart is probably like sinking right now. Yeah. One of his favorite movies.
I thought she knew.
Yeah.
Ever seen? It was amazing.
You watched The Shining for the first time a year ago.
I was if I think about recent.
I'm telling you, this is why. This is why we roast her on this. Yeah.
Oh my god! And then you were roasting him over the Airbender Avatar. Come on.
I know you're absolutely right. But in The Shining, I watched The Shining. I was in a house upstate with her, like one of her best friends, Bowen. Like we were in like literally a cabin upstate, in the middle of nowhere.
Supposed to watch that.
Watching Shining.
Watching The Shining. That's
right before quarantine hit. That movie, I loved that movie. I loved it more than I didn't think I would like horror, but like horror movies are.
Yeah,
I mean, for the time, it was definitely horror. But like now watching it, it doesn't feel like it's still horror, but being experienced with all these new like horror with the CGIs. It's not like that, but it's one of the few horror movies that actually has a really great story.
Yeah.
Because now it's all very like bland, just like like jump scares kind of things. But that one, I can't say.
Yeah.
I made posters for them. I made posters for that movie. I draw Jack Nicholson all the time. I read the book. Did you see Doctor Sleep?
No, I want to see
That's the
Doctor Sleep.
sequel. Yeah.
That's the sequel. Yeah, I want to see that. Yeah. Was it good?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I also read the book before the movie,
Oh,
and
God.
they did it justice too. And then in that movie, they also cut back to The Shining, but obviously not the old clips. They just kind of remake it in their own way.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna spoil it, so you just gotta see it. But it's cool how they kind of like blended them both together.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I want to watch
All right, so now let's keep roasting you. What other things haven't you seen?
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think of the movies that you just.
That I just saw.
I mean, you watched John Carpenter's The Thing the first time.
The Thing, yeah, that was really good. That's basically.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Alien.
Alien.
You haven't watched Alien, but you watched it for the first time. We were looking something up. She saw us. She was like, "Who the hell is Ridley Scott?" And we were like, "We fucking watched that movie. We watched this movie."
Lady Gaga posted a picture of herself. She's going to be in a new movie with Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. I think it's the Gucci
House or something. And it was
like that.
I looked it up on Wikipedia. I was like, "Who's Ridley Scott? That's the director." And I clicked it. I was like, "Oh, I know who he is."
Oh my God.
Like Alien. I didn't know him by name.
Who's this man?
I'm sorry, but I feel like the biggest one. I feel like usually I get roasted in all of my job settings. Like I got roasted for like not seeing like Castaway. I don't know why.
Okay, I mean,
and Castaway. Those were the two that people.
I saw that.
I'm sorry. What?
Your reaction? Yeah, she hasn't watched Pulp Fiction.
Still?
No,
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I should see it.
That's literally
his
my logo.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Fight Club, but that's okay, right?
All right. I mean, Daigo, you know, please.
But I saw Alien and I loved it. So
okay, well that's good.
There's I'll talk about my movie, I guess.
Okay, yes.
Which she also hasn't seen.
Yes.
Craig's gonna kill you for this one too.
That's okay.
She hasn't watched Sam Raimi's Spider-Man series. I mean, she did this year.
I watched it for the first time. The Tobey Maguire
Spider-Man.
You just watched those.
She didn't know anything about them. She was like, "Who's
so which?" So wait, you were introduced to which Spider-Man?
You didn't even watch Tom Holland.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I only knew Spider-Man and like the Avengers movie.
Craig, I'm gonna need you to, hit her up and give her a list, please.
I saw Spider-Verse. I saw Spider-Verse. I saw that.
Like we're talking, the movie's been named. We're roasting her.
Okay, Spider-Verse. Yeah, Spider-Verse was amazing animation-wise, just because of the whole blending of everything.
That was the only one I seen, and then.
But they referenced the Sam Raimi movies in the beginning, and she didn't pick up a single one. Single one.
The things you gotta like. They're doing this a lot now with these newer movies that they always reference the older ones. You have to.
I didn't even know James Franco was in it. We were watching it. I'm like, James Franco's in this movie?
I would reference that. I would be like, I got nothing left but Spider-Man. And she wouldn't get it. She wouldn't
No, you kept referencing the part where he eats he's in the diner eating the pie or something. He's like, so good.
Joe's Pizza.
How's the pie? Oh, so good.
It's pizza time.
Oh, it's pizza. I didn't know.
You didn't know pizza.
Pizza time.
Pizza time. She didn't know you'll get your way when you fix this damn door. She didn't get that either.
Oh God.
We moved in. We had an apartment. I could finally make that joke.
So wait. So have you seen all three already?
She did.
We watched all three back to back. Yeah.
And we were like, should we watch the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield? And we were like, nah, we wait.
yeah. I mean, it was good.
It was good.
Nothing like Tobey Maguire's though.
Yeah.
It's funny that have you guys seen the memes? I don't know I think it's like a whole Twitter account. Basically, like someone goes in deep into like editing like clips from the original Spider-Mans, and puts it into like random situations, like or into like random like other movies, and it like when he's like walking, when he has the symbiote in him, and then he has that slick cut and then
Oh
just doing
yeah.
stuff like that. They'll just put him in different situations. A recent one was, have you watched Mandalorian, right?
No, that's one thing. That's all.
We're not huge. We haven't watched a
You're
lot
not
of Star Wars.
you're not Star Wars fans, huh? You're
Uh,
not big on Star Wars.
I tried. I would fall asleep as a kid trying to watch Star Wars. I haven't revisited it as an adult, so I'm not like I haven't revisited it. Maybe, I'm sure because I like fantasy and stuff, I'd probably like it.
I watched the originals, but I haven't gone into like Mandalorian yet. She's the one who has Disney Plus. I don't have it, so we could share it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we both.
What, you guys live together. What do you mean? You have Disney
on
Plus.
her Mac. You see this computer? We have it on our.
Yeah, I put Disney Plus.
Oh, you could. Okay,
Just,
she had to log in.
Seriously, get into that, man. Because have you watched one? Wait, did you watch one?
No, but my best friend did, and she made fan art for it too. And I'm just like, dang, okay, I really want to see WandaVision.
It's really cool. Because now it's basically the start to revamp the new like start of the next like saga of the Avengers and Marvel universe, and it's basically like right before the new Doctor Strange movie, and the like how now they're doing the live action basically multiverse of Spider-Man.
Right, multiverse or something. Yeah.
So watching that, you kind of get the idea of like where it's gonna go. So it's definitely like something you should watch before. I'm already excited for the new series for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's exciting.
I remember.
Oh man, yeah. But please, I mean, watch at least the originals for Star Wars to then watch The Mandalorian, because that whole show, the whole budget for that show is insane. And then they also on Disney Plus, they also give you the making of.
Ooh.
And you kind of see like what they're working on. They're not using green screens at all. They're in this thing called the volume. I think they call it the volume. So it's basically just a big panoramic screen, and that's the background.
Wow.
Yeah. So all you think it's like all CGI or whatever, but it's not. And the background moves depending where the camera moves.
What?
So it's always consistent. It's definitely something like, just watch this show. Watch for the first season at least of The Mandalorian, so then you can watch that, because
behind the scenes,
it's so interesting to see how they made it, and they have really great directors like that. Like
film is super like at least like relevant in like comic making. So having that like
having more movies and series and stuff that we've seen under our belt, honestly, it helps a lot. Because I wasn't like the biggest.
It helps you.
I guess.
It helps you.
Especially like you're referencing all these movies because of color, that you're so good with color, but you got to see all these cinematic movies.
2020, I spent a lot of time.
Yes, I mean this.
Also time to catch up.
Yeah, the quarantine was very helpful for that too.
Yeah.
HBO Max. We like signed up for that.
Yeah, I signed up for that. I recently finished Lovecraft Country.
Oh, okay. I heard a lot.
That one's really good because that has a whole like magic based thing, and it's very interesting. And again,
you finished Queen's Gambit.
I finished Queen's Gambit.
That was good. That one was.
That was amazing. I loved that.
Yeah, I like the whole idea with the chess pieces and how she was just going crazy with drugs.
Yeah. The substance abuse. I wasn't expecting that, honestly, going into the series. I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't expecting substance abuse. But I thought the way they handled it was really. It was. I mean, the series looked beautiful. It was
for sure.
And the actress, what's her name, Anna Taylor. She's like,
gorgeous.
Yeah. I was just like, dang, yeah, it was really good.
She has to finish shows. If I know that I can't finish a show, I like wait until I can binge it. So I haven't touched like a lot of shows. She's what season are you on?
Okay, here's it.
Breaking
I'm
Bad.
sure you know Breaking Bad.
Yeah. That's like the first show I ever got really into. Yeah.
I got like halfway through it and I just fell off because I would actually get too anxious watching it, because this show, there's a lot of like deep deep topics that are like thrown into episodes of Breaking Bad, and I would actually get too worked up. So I
She said halfway.
So do you like? So you kind of just put yourself within the movie, because Gabby's the same way. Like she can't watch anything sad, or she'll be like sad for the rest of the night, type of thing.
That's why The Shining to me was very scary, because when the kid's getting chased, I'm like freaking out and the violins are going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is so scary. But
I want to recommend a movie to you, but if you're like that, I don't think it would go well.
You're getting into horror, so like some stuff she could definitely like.
Okay, it's not a horror, but I mean, have you guys heard of Uncut Gems?
Oh yes,
I've heard of it.
Okay,
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so it's just straight up an anxiety-inducing like movie, like from start to finish. Like,
oh no!
When I watched it in theaters, my palms are sweating.
Oh no!
Yeah, like I just want. It was like I never really get like that, but I just wanted to leave. Like it just made me want to leave because it was getting to a point where it was too much. But if you're to watch a movie that really like affects your mood and stuff and like gets you like worked up, that's a great movie. And another one from the same directors, because it's the Safdie brothers. Good Times. I always recommend that to everybody, because me and Craig, it was like during a break during classes, we just ended up going, because at the time that's when Movie Pass was a thing.
Oh yeah.
So we would just like go to movies just to watch and like do break time or whatever, and that was just what was playing at the time, and we're just like, let's give it a shot. It was great. It's kind of same vibe. It's a heist movie of two brothers, and part of it they actually filmed around me in Adventureland, which is on Long Island.
Oh, I know Adventureland. Yeah.
Yeah. So a part of the movie, it's filmed inside there, like during nighttime when things close.
Oh wait, I didn't know.
Yeah. Because it's like they're like indie like filmmakers at the time, so it was picked up by A24. So a lot of the A24 movies, I'm really big fan of. But yeah, it was really cool to see like my neighborhood around there.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm very familiar with that area because my grandparents actually live over there in Long Island. They live in Mastic.
Oh, that's where I got my car.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's where my grandparents and a lot of my family live. So I grew up going to Adventureland. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh yeah. You ever been to Splish Splash?
Yes.
Yes. That's another one. Yeah, that's all the way deep. That's really deep into Long Island. Oh man, you have a lot to go through, movie-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you got Daigo that he has all those movies under his belt, so he could like guide you through. But you deserve to get roasted. But you'll get through it. You'll get through it.
I loved Die Hard. I've seen that. I didn't just watch that 2020. We rewatched it 2020. But
like that. You can't just.
Yeah, you can't just. Me and the guys, we watched that during like Christmas time. It's like a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. All right, so you got homework to do.
Yes.
With that, so I appreciate you guys coming, man. It was such a pleasure talking to you guys. Really fun. I loved everything about it. I really enjoyed myself.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. Fun. All right, so again, I'm gonna just let everybody know where they could find you.
Okay.
Before we go.
My Instagram is, and my Twitter. It's my username Malibu. So those are the two main social media that I'm on. Yep.
And for me, same Twitter, Instagram, Diggy Mungo is what I go by. Also on Webtoon too. We use our like internet artist names.
Yeah, so. if you view Skatefire 100 on Webtoon, you can access both of our social media that way. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah.
And then your Patreon, even though you guys are working on that, your Patreon.
It's linked on our Webtoon also.
It's like both of our usernames, Mallow Mungo.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Mallow Mungo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.